Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown results. Video from May 1st, 2020. Birthdays, April 27th, Vladimir Kozlov, 1979. April 28th, birthdays, A-Rye. Remember him? Alex Riley, 1981. Drew Gulak, 1987. April 29th, Paul Roma. Remember from Power and Glory? 1960. Titus O'Neil, 1977. Jay Lethal. Black Machismo, 1985. April 30th birthdays, Abdul Bashir, 1984. And April 30th also, El Hijo del Fantasma, who just recently made his NXT debut, 1984. And rounding out birthdays, May 1st, Joe Hendry, 1988. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. We're on. I have an account on YouTube. This link, part 1, with Becky singing and working out together. I couldn't actually hear them singing for music was too loud. And I only got results for SmackDown. There wasn't very much news this week. SmackDown opened up from the closed set Performance Center in Orlando. Michael Colesaw welcomes us to join him for Corey Graves. The Hype Tonight's lineup. Graves says there will be a new episode of Firefly Funhouse with Bray Wyatt tonight. Daniel Bryan vs. King Corbin was first. We're going to ring for tonight's opening match. Daniel Bryan comes out as Greg Hamilton does the ring introductions. We see the Money in the Bank briefcase hanging high above the ring. Bryan takes the mic and talks about overcome new challenges and trying new things at this point in his career. He's excited for the most unique Money in the Bank ladder match ever from the headquarters. Bryan goes on hyping up the Money in the Bank matches and says they will risk it all. Bryan goes on about the match and wonders if he can just take the elevator to the roof. Bryan doesn't know a lot about the match, but he's excited. And he's excited for the opportunity. Bryan recalls how he cashed in years ago to win the WWE title from the Big Show. Bryan says he is something most people thought was impossible, but winning the Money in the Bank was the pivotal moment in his career. That's what spawned the Yes Movement, spawned with his headlining WrestleMania, and more. To prove he belongs in WWE with the very best, Bryan is excited, but he's also kind of sad. He was hoping partner, friend, and trainer Drew Gulak would get to be in the match with him. Bryan goes on and says King Corbin ruined that opportunity along with his cronies. Bryan calls Corbin to the ring, meaning that Sami Zayn is out of action. Corbin is the new jabroni. The music hits. Out come Corbin to the stage with his scepter. Corbin scolds Bryan for calling out a king. Corbin threatens Bryan and shows us how Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura helped him defeat Gulak in the Money in the Bank qualifying match last week and the post-match attack. Corbin says that felt good. He wants to save Bryan some time because Bryan will not be winning the Money in the Bank. Corbin says he will stand on the roof of WWE headquarters and look down at his subjects as King Money in the Bank. Bryan taunts Corbin for previously failing to cash in and says that makes him a loser. Corbin threatens him again, saying he will end up like Elias. They have a few more words as the promo goes for almost 10 minutes. Corbin threatens to come to the ring and shut Bryan up. We get ready for the match to start as Colesaw sends us into a commercial. Back from the break, the lockup start. Corbin backs off and talks some trash before locking up again. Corbin takes it back to the corner and backs off as the referee counts. Bryan lands a big kick to the leg. They go to lock up, but Corbin rams Bryan back in the corner and works him over with a big right hand. Bryan comes out of the corner with more kicks. Bryan takes Corbin down. Corbin gets back up and connects with a knee to the gut. Corbin drops Bryan with a big shoulder and points to the briefcase. Bryan comes back and drops Corbin by the knee. Bryan delivers several kicks to beat Corbin around in the ring. Bryan takes Corbin back down and works on the leg. Bryan with a knee bar now. Corbin gets to the bottom rope to break it up. Corbin slowly gets up and is limping a bit. Corbin avoids another kick. Corbin keeps getting kicked as he tries to go in. Corbin grabs Bryan this time and puts him down. Brian turns it around and has Corbin on the mat face down. More back and forth now. Corbin gets up and puts Brian back down with the right hand to the mouth. Corbin kicks Brian around and talks more trash in his face. Corbin calls Brian washed up while beating him and keeping him down with elbows. Corbin continues the trash talking, mentioning Glock and Brian's family. Brian unloads at Corbin, but Corbin cuts him off and takes him back to the corner. Brian is on the top now, fighting back. Corbin lands a big right hand, knocking Brian from the top and sending him out to the floor. Corbin stands tall as we go to commercial, with the referee counting. Back for the break, Corbin continues to dominate Brian, grounding him with a knee to the face in the middle of the ring. Corbin unloads and keeps control, more back and forth. They trade counters and penalties. They get back up and go at it, but Corbin runs out, then back in with big clotheslines. Brian still kicks out at 2, and Corbin argues with the referee about his count. Corbin continues to talk trash in Brian's face. Referee warns him about grabbing Brian's hair. Corbin with more offense, including a big knee to the face. Corbin works on Brian's shoulder, keeping him down with more trash talking and strikes. Corbin rocks Brian back in the corner. Brian ends up hitting a big suicide dive to the floor. Brian comes right back in and hits a missile drop kick. Brian with kicks now, kicking Corbin all around the ring. Brian applies the ankle lock on Corbin. Brian then drags Corbin away from the ropes and stomps on his ankle. Heck, I thought at that point he's doing the garbage stomp like Orton does. Brian with a big kick to the face for a 2 count, and then another. Brian with a third straight pin attempt, but Corbin still kicks out. Brian continues to kick Corbin's left leg while he's down. Brian sends Corbin into the corner and hits a running drop kick. Brian runs again, but Corbin comes out of the corner and connects with a D6 and covers him for a 2 count. But he can't believe Brian kicked out. Corbin mounts Brian and talks more trash while pounding him with strikes. Brian slides out and goes for the half crab, but Corbin gets to the bottom rope. Brian yells about going for Corbin's arm now as he starts stomping on it. Corbin is on the floor. Brian runs and goes for the dive. Brian goes on and stays on Corbin and rings out until Corbin uses the ladder next to the ramp to hit Brian with it. Referee calls for calls the match as a disqualification. Winner of the match, Darren Bryan. After the bell, it's announced that Bryan wins by disqualification. Corbin throws a fit and yells at the referee. Corbin then brings the ladder into the ring and then brings Bryan in. Corbin points at the referee and says, "What's about to happen is on him." Corbin goes for the end of days on the ladder, but Bryan counters. Bryan takes Corbin down on the top of the ladder and applies the yes lock on top of the steel. Corbin yells out until Cesaro and Shinsuke make save with a Kinshasa to the head. Bryan then gets double teamed. Cesaro sends Bryan out on the ring with a ladder. Corbin takes Bryan to the stage and throws him off into a group of standing ladders next to the stage. Bryan knocks over the ladders and lands on them as Corbin looks on. Corbin's music hits as he stands on top of the stage with Cesaro and Nakamura. They go to replays. Corbin, Cesaro, and Nakamura look down at Bryan laid out on the ladders. We see WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Alexa Bliss talking. Tag Team Champion Alexa Bliss talking backstage with Universal Champion Braun Strowman. Strowman walks off to the ring. Back to commercial. Back for the break. And Cole looks at how WWE Champion Drew McIntyre recently sent a custom title belt to a World War II veteran, Captain Tom Moore, for his 100th birthday. We go back to the ring. Out next comes Universal Champion Braun Strowman. Strowman talks about last week's look at his history with the Wyatt family. He goes to issue a warning to Bray Wyatt for their match at the WWE Money in the Bank, but the Firefly Funhouse music interrupts. We see Wyatt at the Funhouse. Wyatt says hello to Braun. He says he has something special for all of tonight. The kids at the Funhouse cheer. Wyatt says tonight is story time, and he's telling the story of the Black Sheep. Wyatt is reading from a book with that title, showing a cartoon version of Strowman's old sheep mask on the front. Wyatt tells the story of a version of their history. Strowman is the black sheep, and Wyatt is the shepherd. The black sheep was selfish, and one day left the shepherd, making him sad. Then all of the sheep left one day, making it worse. Wyatt tells a wacky ending to the story. The end. Wyatt says, that's a sad ending. Doesn't Strowman agree? Let's come up with a happy ending. One where the shepherd finds the black sheep, reminds him of his mistakes, and takes away what makes him happy. Strowman touches the title. Wyatt goes on with a threat, but Strowman interrupts. Strowman says he's done with his puppet and funhouse stuff. If Wyatt has something to say, come to the ring and say it to his face. Wyatt just looks at Strowman, starts smiling, and then waves goodbye. Wyatt will see Strowman soon. Strowman looks back down at his title, touching it again. That's the end of the segment. We see Sheamus backstage warming up. Back commercial. Back for the break. And Cole mentions tonight, show being held at the Performance Center. We see the building as Cole sends us to a new WWE video for Make-A-Wish and World Wish Day, narrated by John Cena. Cena touts how Cena has granted more wishes than any other celebrity or sports figure in history. Next match, we got Sheamus versus Leon Ruff, NXT talent. We go back to the ring, and out comes Sheamus. Sheamus stares Cole down at ringside. Cole and Graves talk about Sheamus' incident with Cole and how Sheamus feels disrespected. Enhancement talent, Leon Ruff of Evolve waits in the ring. He's also made his debut in NXT. The bell hits, and Ruff starts off with 2 drop kicks. Sheamus takes the first and swats the second. Sheamus looks to go to work now, despite Ruff trying to land a bunch of off hits. Sheamus manhandles Ruff, dropping him with a backbreaker. Ruff still swinging. Sheamus holds Ruff in position and easily drops him with 2 more backbreakers, as they call it, Irish curse backbreakers. Sheamus looks bothered as he just tosses Ruff across the ring to the floor. Sheamus pulls Ruff up to the apron and talks some trash before unloading with a full arm to the chest. Referee warns Sheamus as he marches back. Sheamus drags Ruff to the corner and backs off to wait for him to get back up. Sheamus yells out, delivers a big bro kick to level Ruff in the middle of the ring, and then pins him for the easy win. After the break, Sheamus hits the corner to pose as the music plays. Or after the match, I meant. We go to replays. Sheamus goes to the announce table and asks Cole if he's going to talk about his best mate now, Jeff Hardy. Cole says, as a matter of fact, we are, because it's time for the final part of the recent series on Jeff. Sheamus says, let's see it. We cut to the chapter 4, the comeback. Video of Jeff Hardy now, the 4th and final part of the recent series on SmackDown. The first 3 videos in the series were the rise, the fall, and the redemption. Hardy talks about returning from his injury and the 2020 version of himself. He says there is something special for him in WWE. He's very blessed to be here, especially after the dark days. Jeff knows he's got it in him to get back to what he needs to do, and to do it better than he's ever done it. Jeff goes on and says this is what he was born to do, and the sky is the limit for the future. Cole announces that Jeff will be back on next week's SmackDown. We see Sheamus standing there with his arms crossed, looking at Cole. Sheamus tells Cole that Hardy will be here next week, so will he. Sheamus pats Cole on the back, and walks off. Kayla Braxton backstage with Otis and Mandy Rose. She mentions their Money in the Bank qualifying matches tonight. Otis says he beat Dolph Ziggler at WrestleMania 36 and will do it again tonight. This is just the beginning. Otis says he will win the Money in the Bank briefcase, and so will his beautiful peach. Rose also talks about facing Carmella and what's happened to her friendship with Sonya Deville. Rose says what happened with Deville did hurt her, but she's looking forward, not back. Carmella is a former champion and briefcase holder, but she says Carmella is another thing coming if she thinks she can come just moonwalk all over Rose. Rose is confident about she and Otis winning the briefcases because the risk is worth the reward. But first things first, she's got to win tonight. She kisses Otis on the cheek, walks off, leaving Otis stunned. Carmella versus Mandy Rose. We go to the ring for the final women's Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Carmella makes her way out. Back to commercial. Back for the ring. Out comes Mandy Rose. We see a briefcase hanging above the ring. The bell rings and they lock up. Rose takes control on the mat first. Rose shows her up some and gets to her feet. Carmella fights back from the mat and shows off with a moonsault. They lock up again and go at it. They run the ropes, and Carmella does a big kick to the face while Rose is sitting on the mat. Carmella grounds Rose down. Rose turns it around and slams Carmella for a 2 count. Rose grabs Carmella in the middle of the ring now. The music hits. Out comes Sonya Deville with a microphone. She speaks from the stage as they go at it in the ring. Deville continues to try and distract Rose, reminding her that she gave Rose her Money in the Bank spot last year. Rose keeps fighting Carmella, but looks to be getting distracted. Rose works Carmella over in the corner. Carmella drops Rose as Deville continues to taunt Rose from the ramp. Eating her imaginary popcorn, Carmella turns around and takes Rose to the corner. Then to the mat, Deville says she's tired of just watching. The judge goes to the ring, and Rose levels Carmella with a big strike in the middle of the ring. Deville keeps ranting, telling Rose that karma is a B word. So bring it on. This leads to Carmella dropping Rose for the pin and the win, and qualifies for the pay-per-view. After the match, Carmella celebrates as the music hits. Rose is slow to recover. Deville runs to the ring and attacks Rose as the referee warns her. Deville talks trash, telling Rose she will never be as good as her. Deville takes it to the floor and continues to destroy Rose, sending her into the barrier and then the seal. Steps. Deville charges and rams Rose against the steps with a running knee to the back of the head. Deville then backs up against the barrier and looks a bit crazy. Coleslaw says Deville is snapped. WWE officials run down to check on Rose. Deville backs up the ramp and says she's done. We go to replays. Deville tries to run back down, but the referee holds her back. Deville continues to yell out about how she will ruin Rose's life. Still to come segment, Otis versus Ziggler and the New Day versus the Forgotten Sons back commercial. Back from the break, Otis is with Mandy Rose and the trainer. The medic checks Rose out, and she says she will be all right. The trainer has a few more minutes with Rose, and Otis heads off. Dolph Ziggler approaches him and asks how Mandy is doing. Otis just stares at Ziggler, breathing heavy. New Day versus Forgotten Sons. We'll go back to the ring. Out come SmackDown Tag Team Champions in the New Day. Kofi Kingston and Big E. Out next for the Forgotten Sons for his non-title match. Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler with Jackson Ryker. Cole leads us to a video package of what happened last week with the Blue Brand Tag Teams getting beat down by the Forgotten Sons. Match is about to begin when the Miz music hits. He comes to the stage. It's street clothes. He stops, waits for John Morrison's music starts up. Out next comes Morrison. They head down to the ramp together, joining Coleslaw and Graves on commentary. Cutler locks up with Big E, and they go at it. Big E powers up and slams Cutler. Kobe tags in for a double teaming. Kobe with a big kick and a quick pin attempt. Cutler rocks Kobe and tags in Blake for a quick double team. Blake takes Kobe to the corner and works him over. Kobe turns around in the corner and loads with kicks. Kobe charges in the corner with a drop kick for another quick pin attempt. Blake turns it around by slamming Kobe by his head. Cutler tags back in and keeps Kobe down. Blake with a quick tag and some double teaming, but it's blocked. Cutler gets sent out to the floor. Big E tags in, hits a big belly-to-belly suplex on Blake. And then another big throw. Big E manhandles Blake some more and hits him with a big forearm to the chest. Cutler charges, but Big E backdrops him on the floor. Big E goes to the apron and runs, hitting a big splash to Blake while he's down on the ramp. Big E then taunts Cutler while he's down on the floor. Back to commercial. Back to the break. Kobe is in control. Big E tags in for a double team and big splash to Cutler for a 2 count in the middle of the ring. Big E chases Cutler out and back in the ring. Big E drops Blake as he comes in, but Cutler knees him in the back, sending him out to the floor. Blake is in control of Big E in the ring, dropping down for a 2 count. Blake keeps control and tags in Cutler for a big double team choke slam. Cutler covers for a 2 count. Cutler works over Big E in the corner now. Cutler unloads against the ropes with shots to the gut as Ryker cheers him on. Blake comes back in for a double team backbreaker. Big E kicks out. A 2 again. Blake grabs Big E and ends up on his back with a hold. Big E then rams his back in the corner. Blake with a shoulder thrust into Big E in the corner after turning it around. Blake charges, but Big E spikes him out of the corner, driving him into the mat. Cutler and Kobe tagging at the same time. Kobe flies off the top and goes to work. Kobe with a big drop kick and a flying right hand. Kobe with a boom drop in the middle of the ring. Kobe rallies and drops Blake on the apron. Cutler comes over and hits a big backbreaker on Kobe. Kobe kicks out at 2. Cutler ends up taking Kobe to the top for a superplex. Kobe fights him and sends him to the mat. Kobe ends up rolling through and hitting a big stomp for another 2 count. Cutler looks for a tag, but Blake isn't there. Kobe rocks Cutler. Blake tags himself in, and they hit double team moves to Kobe. Blake covers for a tag after backbreaker, flying elbow combo. Kobe kicks out. More back and forth. Cutler is illegal, and Kobe dumps him over the top to the floor next to Blake. Big E then tags in and launches Kobe to the floor. Taking out both opponents, they bring him back to the ring, and there's more chaos with all 4 competitors. Big E charges to hit a spear on Cutler, but Cutler moves, and Big E goes through the ropes. Laying out on the floor, Riker grabs Big E and sends him into the ring post. Cutler tags back in, but Kobe rocks him. Kobe mounts Cutler in the corner with punches. Blake tags back in. As Cutler moves Kobe from the top turnbuckle, Cutler powerbombs Kobe into Blake's knees, but that may have been botched. Cutler and Blake put Kobe away with another double team, and Blake covers for the pin and the win. Non-title win, and they are now number 1 contenders. Forgotten Sons. After match music hits, all 3 of the Forgotten Sons stand all together in the middle of the ring, raising their arms in the air. We go to commercial. We get a video package to hype Tamina Snuka versus SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley at Money in the Bank. Kayla Braxton is backstage with Tamina now, asking about the match at Money in the Bank. She asks if there's anything, including Bayley's best friend, Sasha Banks, that could stop her. Snuka talks about how it took multiple women to stop her at WrestleMania, and goes on ranting about how tough she is. She says she won't be intimidated by a bunch of bratty mean girls who are masquerading. She goes on, and Sasha Banks appears, asking if it's really good, if it's really going to be this way after all they've been through together over the years. Banks says Tamina knows how much she loves Bayley, but she always knows they can't carry themselves like women who don't have to do cheap shots. Banks keeps speaking, but it's all to distract Tamina. Tamina turns right away when Bayley is trying to do a sneak attack to fights, but they beat her down and laugh after sending her into a production case. Lacey Evans finally runs up and makes a save for Tamina. All 4 superstars brawl now, and Spencer try to separate them. Sonya Deville backstage with Dolph Ziggler. She wishes she would have seen the look on Otis' face when Ziggler asked him how Mandy Rose was doing earlier. Deville goes on about how she hurt Rose and will continue to do the same. Ziggler looks like he might be annoyed. Deville says Otis will be hurt by Ziggler tonight. Ziggler agrees and runs Otis down. Ziggler says fans cheer Otis because they can see themselves in him, or sitting next to him on the couch drinking beers. They think they're witnessing greatness, but Ziggler and Deville both know guys like Otis never really win. They get pats on the back, sympathy likes, and the occasional participation award. And with a little luck, they get a moral victory. Ziggler goes on and says he's a real winner and will do what he does best in the ring tonight. He's going to win tonight, then go to Money in the Bank to win again. Then he will cash in the contract again and become champion again. Ziggler says after Deville is done hurting Rose, he's going to slide next to her as the new champ and make her feel better. They both smirk. Deville says that sounds like a plan to her as Ziggler walks off. Money in the Bank qualifying match, Otis versus Ziggler. We go to the ring for tonight's final Blue Brand Money in the Bank qualifying match. Otis is out first, receiving a briefcase and the ladders in the arena. Back for the break, Cole announces the lineup for next Friday. Snuka and Evans versus Bayley and Banks. Bryan and Gulak and a partner versus Cesaro, Nakamura, and Corbin. Plus a face-off between Wyatt and Strowman. It was also said the men's and women's Money in the Bank matches will take place simultaneously. We go back to the ring. Out next comes Ziggler for tonight's main event. The bell rings and they go at it. Otis unloads and launches Dolph to the floor with a big elbow. Otis brings him back in, and Otis just dominates him for several minutes. Dolph looks to turn it around at one point, but Otis overpowers once again and levels him. Otis catapults Ziggler into the corner at one point, and Ziggler lands hard. Ziggler ends up on the floor for a breather, but Otis brings him back in. Otis keeps the shoulder, backdrops Ziggler on his neck. Otis will close 2 count in the middle ring. Otis charges in the corner, but Ziggler moves. Otis hits the ring post shoulder first and lands on the floor. Ziggler follows and rams Otis face first into the barrier. The referee counts, and Ziggler rolls back in the ring. Otis is still down as the referee keeps counting as we go to commercial. Back from the break, and they're going at it. Ziggler turns around and mounts some offense finally. Ziggler with a big drop kick to send Otis down. Ziggler with another drop kick into the rope. Otis is back down. Ziggler stands on Otis, and as the referee warns him, Ziggler keeps Otis grounded, raking his face. Referee warns him and checks on Otis as Ziggler keeps him down, talking trash. Otis gets free and swings, but Ziggler gets on his back with a sleeper hold. Otis sends him off, but Otis is dazed. After he was going for the zigzag move, Ziggler looks to capitalize, but Otis just takes it and starts getting hyped up. Ziggler takes a headbutt and goes down. Otis keeps knocking Ziggler down. Otis runs into an elbow in the corner. Otis catches Ziggler and rams him into the turnbuckles. Otis goes for the caterpillar, but Ziggler rolls to the apron. Otis then grabs him, but Ziggler drops him over the top rope. Ziggler runs in for the famouser, but Otis catches him and blocks it. Ziggler rakes the eyes again and ends up hitting a zigzag from behind. Otis still kicks out of two. More back and forth. Otis lands a big throw after catching a super kick. He's fired up again. Otis does the caterpillar and the elbow drop. Otis goes on, covers for the pin, and advances to in the Money in the Bank tournament. After the match, Otis stands tall, celebrates as the music plays. We go to replays. Otis looks up at the briefcase. After he announces hype, Money in the Bank. SmackDown goes off the air at that point. And that concludes my video for SmackDown. Results. Thanks and peace out. See you on video. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.